What is up, guys? DZ Fear, and today was pretty cool. I went to Yu-Gi-Oh! Day, which was a lot of fun. I actually got first. It was pretty small, but it was still fun to test a lot of new ideas with Scourge, Fluffal BA that I'll get into in a second. Kind of went on a whim, but I did want to test out some things, and I think most of them were successful. But also, I went to see the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really fun. We were laughing the whole way through. A lot of people were, but man, it is a fun movie. I haven't actually opened the pack. I don't know if I will. But if you do have one in your area that you can watch, I would definitely suggest seeing it. It was definitely worth the price tag, and you get the obelisk, so that's kind of neat. But anyway, yeah, let's get right into it. I won't talk as in depth as I did in my regional deck profile, because like by now you guys should probably know what these cards do. But yeah, we'll get right into it. So we played 3 Scourge. That's obviously not going to change. 3 Phantom of Chaos. Once again, not going to change. I have thought about cutting this to 2 just because it's like kind of bricky if you open multiples, but realistically, like, you gotta see your combo cards, so you're gonna play 3 of both of them. For the BA monsters, let me get these in 1 second. Yeah, weird order. So the BA monsters are changed a little bit. So one of the things I was testing was cutting all the once per turn effects to just 2 copies. And I ended up playing 2 Scarm, 2 Farfa, and then just all the one of. So Graf, Seer, Barbar, Kelcab, Libic, Alec, and then Dragig. So I felt like this deck's actually really consistent, but I felt like the games I was losing were the ones where I drew too many once per turns. Because like a lot of time, most of the time, you're just special summoning these guys. You're not using any of their effects besides like Graf and Seer and Scarm in the end phase. But even if you have like Scarm, Seer, Graf, a lot of times you're just special summoning the Scarm and the Graf and then like making a Dante, because you need your normal summon for the Phantom of Chaos. So the hands that I were losing were the hands where I would have like multiple Scarms, because like I can't, even like the bad Burning Abyss play of just like specialing a Scarm and normaling a Scarm is just like, you can't do that in this deck because then you don't have a normal summon. So I cut it to 2, never missed it. Honestly, I think it's obviously really bad at 2 in any like conventional Burning Abyss deck, but in this particular one, thought it was the right call. And it makes sense because like when my friend and I first built this deck, he played 2 and he did just fine, so it's not that uncommon. But then I also played 1 tour guide, and I bumped up the Fiendish Rhinos to 3. This third slot, I was playing 2 of this, obviously, because I really want to keep the once per turn effects to a minimum. But the third copy of this was going to be Stygian Street Patrol, which was tested on the live stream last night. That card just never came up, though. It's like good in theory, but it's really bad in practice. I also wanted to play a Feather of the Phoenix, because that card has a lot of cool applications, and I might still test that out, but I couldn't find any copies, and the store didn't have them. So I just played a third one of this. This is like the most important card of the deck, monster-wise, because it gets you to anything you could want. And yeah, it's also really good to draw for the Scourge, because then you have a strong normal summon, and it's a floater, so that's really good. But yeah, these were good. Never really had a problem with those. Obviously, played 3 Terratop and a Takedown Borg. Don't really need to explain those. Very good card. And then for the Fluffal engine, we cut it to 2 Bear and 2 Wing. I was unsure about this, but after testing on the live stream, I came to the decision that this was just the best way to go. Like I said, these are once per turn effects, so, and like hard once per turn effects. So if you draw multiples, it's like really bad. And yeah, I don't think I ever missed the third copies of either of these. It definitely made it a lot easier. Because after you go through like 2 toy vendors, then all your targets are gone. Because usually you've like milled one of them, and then you've discarded a bear, so then you only have 1 bear and 1 wing left in deck. So it just gets rid of dead draws, because that's really all these are after the first time you resolve wing. So yeah, definitely. I mean, like a lot of time you're powering through your whole deck on the first turn anyway, so like there's no reason to play like more copies of those. For the spells, obviously 3 Monster Reincarnation. This is like the best spell in the deck. I always say that, but really it is. One of the cooler plays I did was when I opened, it was like double Monster Reincarnation, double Toy Vendor, and then like a random Dark, and I drew into, I think, another Burning Abyss, and I just like did some, like made a Dante, got like shitty mills, the Monster Reincarnated, discarding 1 Toy Vendor to add back a random Dark, and then I added a Wing with that Toy Vendor, and then I used a second Monster Reincarnation to discard the second toy vendor to add a bear, discarded the bear to set the third toy vendor, and then discarded the wing, and then drew 2, and then I was able to combo off. But anyway, Monster Incarnation, that's a good card. That was my long way of saying Monster Incarnation is broken. We obviously played 3 Desires. So this is the second hard once per turn that we're playing 3 of. I honestly thought about playing 2, but I don't know. Desire is just too good. I mean, drawing this card is ridiculous, so it's fun. 3 Lower Darkness. This deck's 43 cards now instead of 45, so I saw these a lot more often, and that was great. I never saw them with Phantom of Chaos, but I did see them without other things, and I got plenty of combos off. Just deck thinning is very good. 3 Toy Vendor, obviously. The on-field effect is a once per turn, but the milling effect is not a once per turn, so... Or, sorry, the graveyard effect is not a once per turn, so 3 is definitely the right amount of that. And then lastly, just Foolish and Soul Charge. Some things that you're testing on the stream were like a Metal Foes Fusion, which is kind of cute, or like Upstart Goblin or the Stygian, Street Patrol, stuff like that. But realistically, with a deck like this, you just want it to be as consistent as possible. So I just kind of wanted to test out my ideas, and I think most of them worked. I don't know about the 3 Rhino. I don't know. It was like good. Sometimes I drew multiples, and that kind of sucked. But I don't know. That card's just way too important. That was the main deck. You can see some changes in there, especially with that. Here's a token from the Yugioh Day. It's basically just the movie poster, just a little weirder because they squish the characters together. Anyway, 3 Dante. Make those a lot. Beatrice, Pilgrim. I actually did make Pilgrim a couple times. That's kind of neat. Usually that doesn't happen. 2 Levier. I never went in a second one. I think I did it at the regional though, so I guess it's worth playing. 1 Giga Brilliant. This was supposed to be a Gram Pulse. I took out the Corbage for a Mech Equipped. I'll talk about it in a second. But I was supposed to play Mech Equipped and Gram Pulse, but I couldn't find a Gram Pulse, which is embarrassing. So I played the Giga Brilliant. But the Gram Pulse is cool because it pops the Toy Vendor in awkward hands. Because you can't pop Toy Vendor with anything else because you can't break sword on the first turn. Because you have no cards to destroy on your opponent's field. So this should have been a Grand Pulse, but whatever. Mech Equipped is good because I think someone suggested this on the regional deck profile. There are situations where you have a Sky Scourge in hand and Fiend's Engrave, and you have a Farfa and you make a rank 3. You already have a Dante because you always have a Dante. So in that case, if you can't get to the Phantom of Chaos or put a Wing Engrave, you can make the Mech Equipped with a Farfa, normal summoning the Farfa, overlay with the Dante for F0, and then the Farfa gets attached, and then you banish the F0 to put this engrave because this is a fairy light, and then you can banish it for Sky Scourge. That came up a couple times in testing, and it did come up once in the actual tournament, so I think it's worth playing. It's not because the problem with Stygian Street Patrol was that it was good in a couple random situations, but if you drew it outside of situations, it was terrible. But this is in the extra deck, so it only comes up when you need it to. But definitely a good choice. So thanks for the suggestion, whoever made that comment. And then lastly, we have some other Ring 3. So you Break Sword, Acid Golem, Nightmare Shark. I did play a Leviathan Dragon. I can't find my hollow one, but this had to do. Leviathan Dragon was the reason I lost. Not playing Leviathan Dragon was the reason I lost 2 games at the regional. Because you just couldn't make big monsters when you got down to no cards in your deck, but this doesn't need a mill. I made it twice, so it's pretty good. I would still play it for sure. Cards are really slippery. And then F-Zero and Gaia Charger. You can do the same. You can do a similar play with a Beatrice and Gaia Charger that you were doing with the Mech Equipped and the F-Zero, but the Mech Equipped is just easier to do. But yeah, those cards are good. For the side deck, 2 Max C. Very good going second. This deck doesn't like going second. 2 Vanity's Fiend. Yeah, I mean, Vanity's Fiend, the idea is that if your opponent sides in Max C or Flying C, which they probably will if they're playing those cards, when you go first, games 2 and 3, you can just tribute summon this, and then they basically can't play the game. So that's pretty good. And this is also very good against DDDs. 2 DD Crow. I definitely like this card a lot against DDDs. I don't think 2 are necessary because there's not a lot of side deck space in this deck when you're siding. You only usually side out 4 cards at most. But yeah, it's definitely still a powerful hand trap. 2 Lava Golem. I mentioned this in the last video, but basically, and you can use this with Vanity's Fiend too. But if you can send a Rhino and you have a monster reincarnation, you can then search Lava Golem or Vanity's Fiend because they're fiends. So you just send them with the Fiendish Rhino and then add them back with Monster Reincarnation. So that's pretty good. Then we also played 2 Forbidden Chalice. I like this card a lot. It's really good against. I used it on an Alkahest. That was good. I didn't draw it against DDDs, but yeah, it's just a really powerful card right now. So I definitely liked that card a lot. 2 System Down because ABCs was the worst matchup, but no one was playing it, so it doesn't matter. And then 3 Twin Disturb for like backward decks. That doesn't really matter. One thing I'd like to say is that this deck does play through cards really well. Played against the DDD guy, and games 1 and 2, when he went first, he opened Siegfried and Crystal Wing, and I still was able to push through that and combo off. So this deck can, I mean, Brainy Abyss monsters are really good at pushing through things, and Alec is great at that as well. But anyway, hopefully you guys know the deck profile. It was fun going to Yugioh Day, and it was fun seeing the movie, but I will see you guys later.